Hey everyone, we're going to tie one of my absolute favorite trout flies. This is a great kind of classic wet fly called the Betsy. A good friend showed me this a few years ago and it has been really successful. It's one of my go-tos when nothing else seems to be working. It's just a great confidence fly. Alright, start with our hook. Today we're tying on a size 10. You can tie this smaller. I usually don't go any smaller than this anymore. I used to, but some guys will even tie them up in size 6s, real big sizes. This is a 3761. Probably my favorite hook for this. It's a 2x heavy, 1x long, really strong hook. We're using 6/0 red, and I'm going to start my thread an eye length back. Now that eye length is there to remind me to stop at a really specific spot that I'll explain later when we're putting in our wing material. So you're going to wrap your thread back to the barb. Make sure you're not back any further. And we're going to put in our tailing material, which is red schlappen. You can also use craft fur. You can use whatever you got that's red. Separate some of these fibers and measure out about a shank length there. Put in a nice pinch wrap. Oops. All right, that's in there, and we're going to wrap this material back up the shank. Now I do this not because it's necessary, but I think it gives a nice uniform thickness to the underbody. And before wrapping back, we can wrap in our ribbing, which is brassy sized silver ultra wire. And I like this on the near side so that when I'm counter wrapping, that first wrap is really easy. I'm not wrapping over anything too crazy all the way over the body. All right, speaking of body, peacock herl, tough to go wrong with, great material. You should use more of it because fish love it. Pick out 4 good strands. I think I ended up with 5 here, or 6. Now, bigger flies, you'll want more material. Smaller flies, less. Another pinch wrap here. And same deal as with the schlappen. I'm just taking loose wraps up on this. No big deal. Keep your thread right at that original tie-in spot because that's where we're going to catch all these materials. Give it a little twist and that'll keep this peacock herl together. Even when you break one like that, don't worry about that. That's okay. Fish don't mind. All right, capture that with 2 or 3 wraps in front and back. Trim the excess. Now we're going to counter wrap, so underneath with our silver ultra wire. And this really adds a lot of durability, not just the ribbing color, but wrapping the opposite way on your flies really locks that material in, because if you've worked with it before, peacock herl, you'll know, is not a super durable material. But like I said, fish seem to love it. It's definitely worth still using. Not everything needs to go to synthetics, in my opinion. Okay. Bring your nozzle up for this helicopter technique, and you won't have to use scissors, wire cutters, anything. Great. Clean that up. Make sure tail length looks good. And for our wing, we're going to use some kip tail from the base down here. This one is a really nice one. I got really nice fine pointed tips instead of all this scraggly stuff. This still works great, don't worry about it, but there's something really satisfying about having these nice fine tips. And you want to cut it at the base. Cut more than you think you need, because you're going to toss probably half of it will end up being under fur. So I'll start with a bundle. And just like if you were working with bucktail or any other fiber, you'll want to grasp the tips and pull from the butts, and you're going to get all that stuff to come out. That looks great. Now I want the tips of this to line up roughly with the bend of the hook in length. That's my measurement. All right, make sure you, with your pinch wraps, you're not taking too tight of a wrap, because it'll start to spin. And we're not spinning deer hair here. When you apply pressure, this is another important tip. Do not pull when your bobbin is set up like this. You want direct pull, always. Use the strength of the thread. All right, that's looking good. Now we're going to use this extra length we gave ourselves up here to lock this in. So peel a little bit back at a time and give it a wrap. This is the same way we do a lot of bucktail flies, where we lock that bucktail in, and it makes for a really durable fly that you can rely on for a while. All right, work the rest of this back up so you can get at it. And come in with your scissors and get as close as you can without trimming your thread. It's a good tip to use your fingers up against your hook as a guide. Really steadies those scissors, especially if you had a pile of coffee. All right, rotate that. Great. Now we're going to create a nice thread head and cover up all those butts. And you go through some thread with this fly, but it's worth it. It catches enough fish to justify a little bit of red thread, I think. All right, don't get too crazy. Grab your whip finish tool. A nice 4 or 5 turn whip finish right up against the eye. And there you have it. The Betsy. Trout catching machine. Brook trout love it. Brown trout don't mind it either. Worth having in your box. Tie a few different sizes. This is the only color you need, in my opinion. And hang on. So thanks for watching. Stay up to date with what we're doing in Northern Michigan with our Facebook page, Instagram, and website, thenorthernangler.com. Hope to see you out there on the water. Thanks for watching.